Hello, this is KG Kaiju once again. In my previous video, you will recall that I showed my Odyssey 400, 500, 3000, and 5000 Pong units. And as I alluded to in one of my previous videos, there was a third major competitor in the Pong market, and that is Coleco. Now, I don't have the Coleco Telstar from 1976, but I do have the follow-up, which is the Coleco Telstar Alpha. This came out in 1977. The unit is rather simplistic in its design. As you can see, it has two knobs for the Pong game. It has a reset switch, on-off switch, beginner, intermediate, and pro skill levels, and a selection of 4 different games: hockey, tennis, handball, and ha-ala. Now, look at the back, and you will notice it has 2 rubber legs which actually tilt the Telstar Alpha upward slightly, making it a slight inclined plane. Here's the plug-in for the battery, or should I say battery eliminator, otherwise known as the AC plug. And speaking of the AC plug, here it is. And they give you quite a bit of line too. Now here's the, even though this is not in good shape, this is the TV game switch box. And one switch, flick of the switch, you can switch between TV programming and the game play, as is with most Pongs. Now you may notice in my previous videos I forgot to show the manual for my Odyssey units. Here's the manual for the Coleco Telstar. Not very involved, pretty much 4 pages. Well, in the same year, like the Odyssey version of, or should I say the Odyssey line of Pongs, Coleco also put out more Telstar Pongs similarly. Now, this is essentially the same as the Coleco Telstar Alpha, but this is called the Coleco Telstar Colormatic. And you'll notice these little holes right here. Now, it came with controllers, and what you did is you plugged the controllers into the holes so they're completely could be separated from the unit. Now, here's the reset switch, just like with the Telstar Alpha, on-off, beginner, intermediate, and pro, and the same 4 games as last time. The AC plug-in is the same, and just like with the Alpha, this also has a battery compartment down toward the bottom. And still in 1977, Coleco came out with another unit called the Coleco Telstar Ranger. Now, this is a huge box, as you can see, but the unit is rather small. However, it does offer a little bit different gameplay in that it now has a gun for shooting things. And, this is a universal plug, which was purchased around, it looks like the same time frame. Now, if you want to see what the Coleco Telstar plug looks like, this is the box that it's in. And as you can see, it's the same as what we had with the Telstar Alpha. And speaking, none of the Coleco Telstar Pong units that I have actually came with the adapter. You had to purchase it separately, and that's the actual box that you would find it in. Now here's a better example of the Coleco Telstar, or should I say the Coleco switch box, which was used with the Telstar models. Now here are the controls, and these paddles actually come out, and as you can see, well, you can see if I move it, it has a weird plug-in situation. Let's look at the back of this. I'll bring this up a little bit closer so you can see. Now, as you can see, it has an odd setup right here, and here is how it plugs in. See the top right there? It's like an adapter, and it plugs straight in to that little hook in there. So the paddles were detachable, but of course only paddles, replacement paddles for this unit would fit in there. And it had a couple of different games here, actually 6. Tennis, hockey, handball, ha-ala, skeet, and target. Of course, target is what you would use the gun for. And it plugs, the gun plugs in right here. You can see that big hole right there is the slot. Now I'll bring this up close so you can see what kind of plug-in it is. Well, gotta get it down. See, right here is where it plugs in, and here is the plug. Looks kind of odd, but I guess they're trying to make sure that nobody else could use just a common plug-in for it. Now, on-off switch there, beginner, intermediate, and pro switch, and the reset button. And it did have its own little speaker. Now looking at the back, you see it's got an odd shape. This is the battery compartment, and you had to use a flathead screwdriver to get in there. Why they didn't just have a clip, I don't know. I guess they wanted to make sure that changing batteries was a little more difficult. Maybe try to force people to use the battery eliminator, and there's the plug-in for that. Well, I'm going to go now to the Coleco Telstar Colortron, which is 1978, and this you can see is a much smaller unit. If we open this up, this is it. See the usual Pong knobs. I'll have it upside down. Intermediate and pro difficulty, and you could, of course, there's a reset, there's the game select switch, and you had 4 games to choose from: tennis, hockey, ha-ala, and handball. And here you see the battery eliminator plug-in and the audio video cord plug-in. And this is a channel switch. You can choose channel 3 or 4. And it had dual battery compartments, one on either side. Kind of odd setup there. And of course, if you weren't necessarily in the mood to keep wasting batteries, you could get the battery eliminator, and the Telstar plug would work with all the Telstar units. That's all for now. We'll return to the Pong videos shortly, and until then, I will see you all later.